This is some of the best stock news that I've gotten in a while. And it's not really stock news, but Amazon is going to stop testing many workers for marijuana and will lobby Congress for federal legalization. Reported by Tom Angel from Marijuana Moment on June 1st, 2021. That's going to be something. That Amazon money is going to start being thrown around to legalize weed. How much quicker before you think you can say, Alexa, get me an ounce? And she'll be like, do you want Hindu Kush or do you want the purple Urkel? Pass.
But we got a corporation now. A corporation saying we're going to change our drug testing policy because that doesn't mean shit. Like, good on you, Am. I mean, like, I hate you, evil corporation, but good on you for recognizing that drug testing doesn't do shit, and it won't. And do you know why they stopped this policy?
Why is that?
Because they can't find fucking employees.
Well, you know, where did Amazon go? Like, where did because Jeff Bezos drove to Washington State. So
Dude,
where are they headquartered?
The world, bro. But anybody that deserves to be vibing is the guy driving your shit for fucking $10 an hour, or the guy fucking stocking your shelves fucking 15 wherever you're at. Like, the shittiest jobs I've had, those are the jobs I deserve to be smoking weed at that time and place. Like, I make 10 times as much money as I ever did as a kid, and like, it's just more like, I know my job now because I've been doing it for fucking 20 years. But when I'm stocking shelves, I don't need to be sober. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not only that, but then, you know, a lot of those fulfillment centers have to be a fairly demanding job. And so after demanding jobs, it's nice to have an anti-inflammatory like weed to smoke.
Exactly.
Hey, Grant, did they have Amazon out in Massachusetts?
Like the company or the Amazon of weed?
The company. And so what newspaper did Bezos actually buy? Was it one of the ones in Massachusetts? It was an East Coast paper.
Washington Post.
Washington Post. And now he's going to lobby for cannabis reform.
Well, so there's a couple issues. One is one of the big things we have in Massachusetts that's crucial to keeping our cannabis program small is license limits. And big companies like Acreage have learned this lesson. If you try to come into Massachusetts and subvert ownership and control by going over the 3 license limit per license type you can have as a company, they won't just catch you, the regulators, they will declare your contracts inoperable and throw you out of the state unceremoniously. And so the big issue when these new delivery licenses we talked so much about earlier were coming up was, are we going to have an Amazon of cannabis? And Massachusetts was able to proudly plant the flag and say there is no chance with our license limit structure. Now, on the federal level, I'm worried, although I'm glad to hear they're not testing their employees for cannabis. No one should be tested for cannabis. I don't think there should be workplace drug testing at all, but I'm a little bit of a radical there. But the thing I'm worried about is companies don't get involved with regulatory lobbying benevolently. They get involved because they look at it as a mechanism for regulatory capture and corporate control. And I talked a little bit about J.D. Rockefeller earlier. The real J.D. Rockefeller in this situation, in particular, if they go after cannabis, will be Bezos, because what Rockefeller did, it's a nuanced thing, but it's so important. He controlled some oil refineries in Cleveland, just 2 or 3 at first, and then 26. And eventually he owned almost every oil refinery in the United States. What did he do? He made a deal with the railroads where he would do they would do last mile delivery for him at half price for a few years, kill off all the independent oil towns, and then he would kick them back all those rebates that he had been given. As a direct result of him doing that, we got the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890, and we're going to see something like that in the cannabis industry with last mile delivery, and the impetus is going to be on the smaller companies and the grassroots activists to stop it, because there isn't going to be an eat a tar bell this time.
I'm sorry. That was a wonderful anecdote, but I did not hear the Eba Tarbell at the end. I was with you until you said the very last sentence. What was that?
Ida Tarbell was the first investigative journalist in American history. She worked for a magazine called McClure's Magazine in the early 1900s, and she was friends with Teddy Roosevelt. And her first serialized publication was called The History of the Standard Oil Company, and she single-handedly brought down that trust.